Halloween just passed a little bit ago, and I thought it would be a good time to do a video about main character from a horror anime, that being Kitaro from Gegege no Kitaro. Now, there are actually multiple Gegege animes, but the one I'm going to be talking about is the one from 2018. And if you're wondering why, it's because it's the only one that I watched. Not that it really matters, because I'm pretty sure all of them are just basically remakes. Well, as far as the TV series goes. By the way, Gegege actually has a movie. This came out in 2023, which means that with the 2020 version finished, and this movie being out, Kentaro character is finally finished. Well, as far as this go. So I know if you're wondering which Gegege you should watch, personally I'll pick 2018 version. Mainly because the redesigns are far better than the originals. For example, this is Catchy in the 2018 version, and this is her in the original. So you can definitely say there is an improvement. With that out the way though, let's talk about who Kentaro is exactly. Now, going off looks, you wouldn't know it, but Kentaro is actually a yokai, not human. Not only that, but Kentaro is a special yokai because he's a descendant from the Ghost Tribe. By the way, this was a really powerful tribe. Not only that, but he is the only member of the tribe left. Well, one of two, because there's still Daddy Eyeball, his father, but he doesn't have his actual body anymore. If you're wondering why Kentaro is the last member of the tribe, they actually tell the reason in the movie, that being yokai hunters took out the tribe because they wanted the tribe's blood. If you're interested, you can watch the movie. Now, if you're wondering what purpose Kentaro serves in the story, well, he's basically a mediator between humans and yokai, meaning he doesn't want either side attacking the other without proper cause. Now, even though Kitaro acts as a mediator, there are times where he just let things play out. For example, if the yokai is in the wrong and attacks a human, Kitaro will jump in and murder the yokai, or at least try to talk him out of it. But say if a human is doing wrong against a yokai, Kitaro will most of the time try to fix the situation, but if it goes too far, he will just let the yokai get the human. The only times where this is kind of an exception is like during the final arc. But reminder, during the final arc, Kitaro has been through a lot at this point, so it's kind of a little bit different situation. I mean, in the beginning, Kitaro doesn't even think humans and yokai can coexist with each other. But after meeting Mana and experiencing multiple events, he does eventually end up changing his mind by the end of the story, believing that there may be some chance of humans and yokai coexisting in a possible future. I mean, by the end of the story, you see that Kintaro went from a neutral position to being more, morally good aligned. Now, let's talk about how strong Kintaro is exactly, which is kind of weird because even though Kintaro isn't weak at all, he does struggle with certain opponents sometimes. Probably because his physical strength isn't that impressive. Doesn't matter in some cases because Kentaro abilities does help him out a lot. Now Kentaro actually does have a pretty interesting moveset, with his abilities being electricity absorption, which are kind of self-explanatory, hair needles when his hair becomes sharp as needles and he shoots them from his head, and the last of his abilities, well, the spirit gun. If you've seen Yu Yu Hakusho, you know what this basically is. Kitaro shoots yokai energy from his fingers, and this is by far his strongest move. Not only that, but Kitaro actually has weapons. Well, kinda. You see, Kitaro actually uses the shoes he wears as projectiles, where he throws them at someone, and since they are remote controlled, they always come back to him, meaning he can just throw them and keep recalling it. Another weapon he has is actually his vest. Now, this isn't a regular vest, obviously, the vests are made by the Ghost Tribe. Because of that, the vest has a lot of utility, like being able to change size and shape. This allows the vest to be used as things like a sword, javelin, or even a gauntlet. Sometimes Kentaro even uses it to parry or restrain powerful yokai. The crazy thing in Kentaro's moveset though is probably he can't fly at all. Still, he has defeated some of the most powerful yokai like being Backbeard, yes, back, not black, that beard, the evil four generals, which are top tiers in the verse, and the western yokai, powerful yokai that was led by Backbeard. Nah, that pretty much sums up Kitaro, and if you're interested, I recommend watching the show. Or you may already done watched it, and if you have, what's your opinion of it? But besides that, that's basically it.